It's time for WrestleShoot. The beast comes out in the dead of night. WrestleShoot eats a Tuesday night. Rob and Chris don't pull the punches, bitch. WrestleShoot. Breaking it down, WrestleShoot. Telling the facts, WrestleShoot. Stories on the road, WrestleShoot. That's our fire subjects. No Carney ever escapes their sight. Coming at you live every Tuesday night. Hey, WrestleShoot. Anti-social network, WrestleShoot. Sticky and hot, WrestleShoot. Sometimes act like jerks, WrestleShoot. Always bringing on the guts.
A great goddamn song, and we're back, baby. We are back for part 2 of WrestleShoot's Month of Pain, baby. I'm your host, Rob Wilds, joined, of course, by the lovely, the talented, and makes a set of glasses look so damn good, Christian Sanova. But let's not forget about the great and powerful, a guy who helped put hardcore on the map when it was just a kooky idea, Mr. Maxx fucking Payne. We're back.
Well, that's a fucking accolade I'm not sure I could ever rise to, but I will thank you, my friend.
That's right. It's my show, so if I say it, it's the truth. Just
My
like
God.
Opie and Anthony used to say, whatever the topic is, we have microphones, so we're experts.
Oh, wow.
What happened? You know, it's so funny. I'm glad you brought them up because, man, I fucking loved them.
Yeah.
And did they just implode? What happened?
Oh, dude, I'm an expert on the subject. So, Opie,
please enlighten me. I love
Mr. Hughes kind of slowly started disintegrating in his mind when they were doing them versus Stern, right? Opie became convinced that absolutely everybody was out to get him. He suddenly was a third fiddle on my own radio show. It's my radio show. He was convinced because Anthony and Jim Norton had such good chemistry. And, you know, Opie was a really good straight man, right? You got to have your slapstick. You got to have your straight. Then you got to have your feet in.
Yep.
So Norton and Cumia, Anthony Cumia and Jim Norton were both, they just
fucking
really vibe.
Jimmy Norton shit, right?
Yeah, totally.
I fucking love Jimmy Norton, man.
So the internal explosion started happening. Opie was picking legit, like personal heat on air with Cumia. And then Anthony was finally saying on the air, like, look, dude, because his name is Greg Hughes. He's like, look, buddy, I'm not going to walk on Greg shells just because you're here. You can go fuck yourself. This is the Opie and Anthony show, not the Greg Hughes show. Go fuck yourself. And it just kept getting uglier and uglier. So then, and this is just this from the stories.
So this is Anthony saying this to Opie.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So on the air live, he's talking shit about, he's telling Opie, you're getting out of fucking control.
Yeah, and Opie's like, no, don't pick a fight with me. And fucking, he'd start the fight. Anthony would respond to it. Let it go, bro. Let it go. And he's like, fuck that, let it go. What's your problem? So Opie and Anthony was starting to disintegrate. And you got to wonder, like, poor Jimmy Norton. He's like the kid watching his parents getting ready for a divorce.
Yeah, right. Of course.
So then the culmination was, and this is from all the stories I've kind of put this together, was Anthony was a photography buff. Lived in New York, or lived outside of New York, but would stay there often in like a hotel room if they had a function the next day after they do their broadcast at a function. He would crash, go do the radio show the next day.
Okay.
He would take his camera out around New York and just snap pictures, and he was out at like 4 a.m. and he snapped a picture of his sign. There was a black hooker in the picture who thought he was taking a picture of her. And she went at him with violence. And then like 6 more black dudes jumped out. You better walk away, white boy. You better walk away. Now,
Wow.
Anthony was a gun nut. So he was heavily armed. But he said, I'll walk away. But he was pissed. So he went on Twitter and let loose on a tyrant of, savages and these animals and blah, blah, blah. Didn't ever actually drop an N-bomb or anything like that, but he pretty much implied it.
Pretty close.
And
Yeah.
Sirius said, we got to cut ties over this one. This one went too far. And they just fired him. No, they still had to pay him, but they just took him off air. Opie never went to bat for him. Then they made it to Opie and Jim Norton's show, and that disintegrated fast. And that goes right back to poor Opie and his mind just disintegrating into this. Like, if you listen to the kind of shit he tries to do now, he's even still always attacking Cumia, always picking fights with the comedians.
He's not letting it go.
And these comedians, all these people want nothing to do with him. They said, you've lost your fucking mind. And he just keeps the fight going and going. And now Anthony has gone all the way right-wing kind of political radio guy on what started as he's always been all the way right-wing. But now he's actually being that guy on ABC. And he's now syndicated to like 30 different. And great, man. You know what? If you can reasonably articulate the side of the Republican Party, somebody has to, because they're not doing it themselves. So if he can be the side for his party that makes any sense at all, have at it. I don't agree with contrary of what he says politically. Not a fucking thing. But still, he is one of my fucking entertainment heroes. And when Chris and I decided to relaunch WrestleShoot, people started calling us the Opie and Anthony of pro wrestling.
Yeah.
And then they started saying, hey, you know what? You ever heard of Monty and the Pharaoh? And I was like, of course I've heard of them. And well, those guys are kind of like the Howard Stern of pro wrestling. You guys should have like an on-air feud. So I sent Monty a message. I said, hey, you want to come on? And he goes, fuck yeah. And the 4 of us have had so much fun. So instead of this Opie and Anthony versus Howard Stern thing that people thought was going to happen, it turned more into an Opie and Anthony and Ron and Fez thing, where we all do these amazing shows together.
They're a lot of fun.
I actually did one of their shows, actually.
Oh, nice.
In fact, I somehow the promoter I was working with ended up fucking the deal up, but I would have gone on their show multiple times, man. But they, it's one of those things when, especially me, because I'm really vulnerable to be taken advantage of. And so the promoters I've worked with in the past, the few times that I did come back to the business, I've had promoters take advantage of me. I know you'll find that hard to believe.
No.
Yeah, I know, right? That a
wow.
promoter.
Damn.
Hey, promoters, don't be carny fucks, dude. Try doing business honestly. You know who succeeds? This is the promoters. You know who succeeds the longest in this business is the cleanest fucking promoter.
You're so right.
Kirk White is a fantastic example of a hard-nosed promoter who did it all the way up until he passed. Because if he said, Chris, I want you to come out. I'm going to give you $150. I'm going to put you on the 3rd match. I want 15 minutes out of you. When you got there, he handed you your money. He put you on the spot, 15 minutes, and he booked you again for the next show. And what he said, he did. That's what promoters do, not carny fucks.
He understood the carny part of it, though. But
yeah, he did.
Yeah, he followed a straight path for the most part.
Yeah, and that's the hard part. It's been for me is, I went away from the business for a reason. I have incredible PTSD from the business, from the things that have happened to me. And You know, when somebody sets forth to destroy your career and then they do so, um, it hurts. You know, especially when you spent your whole entirety of your soul trying to build something. And you know, so I, as you can imagine, and I wasn't very excited about jumping back in. I jumped back in. I trusted somebody, and it just, you know, it's so funny. So many times in my life that's happened to me. I'm not going to change who I am. I'm just a vulnerable fucking softy that, you know, when somebody tells me they're going to do something, I just trust they're going to do it. And if they don't, then the thing I've learned in my life is I'm not the one that has to carry that karma around. You know, when somebody fucking betrays you and fucking treats you like shit, tells you one thing, does another, I that's not my burden to carry. Let them. You know, there's a real powerful book out right now called "Let Them." You know, and that's just the way I feel. If somebody wants to do that, well, that's going to be your fucking instant karma you're going to deal with. But it's made it. I've been so fortunate now this time because and it's funny because I don't know why, you know, that all of a sudden, like yourselves, you know, have shown up in my life again. And I've been so fortunate because everybody's been so fucking grateful and graceful to me. And it's been such a fucking pleasure because this is what I really want to do, you know, because I do have stories to tell. I do believe I'm an untapped source of, forgive me, that's not meant to be braggadocious. It's meant to say, you know, because I have been away, I am an untapped source of a lot of fucking stories and wrestling memorabilia, so to speak, in terms of just great stories and life on the road, and happen to have been a part of some really amazing fucking times. So, you know, I'm glad to be back, but there's still a lot of pain associated with those folks who do that to you.
You can pick and choose, though, right? I mean, you're at that point in your life where you don't have to work with those people. You can pick and choose the promoters or shows to work on. It's all up to you.
And whatever went sideways with Monty and Pharaoh, I'll just tell you, dude. If you want to do their show again, you let me know. I'll send them a message.
I'd do their show anytime. You can let them know. It wasn't me that went sideways. I think it had something to do with the promoter wanting to get paid for me doing their show, which I had no idea of. And you know, that's one of those things that, and I don't think it went sideways I hope they don't feel it was with me because like I said, I had nothing to do with the booking. You know, I didn't even know I was going to their show until I'm in their studio, and they were incredibly graceful and gracious. And again, you know, they were fucking. It was great. I had a great time doing their show. So
I hear they get you nice and sauce too before you go on the air. Chris, we gotta go, man. We gotta go out to Monty and Pharaoh's studio and get sauce.
Yeah, it's a good time. Yeah,
I went. I was out there. That's where I was. I went to these guys took me to their studio, and
oh, you were actually there. Okay.
Oh, I was at the studio, man. It was fucking great.
Yeah, the little bottoms up before you go on. They get you loosened up a little bit. Yep. Hell yeah.
It was a blast, man. I had a great time doing their show.
Yeah.
Maybe we should all three show up there and call it the WrestleShoot Invasion.
Hey, brother, you know I'm in. So you know all you got to do is all you got to do is make sure that the only thing I'm really shitty at is again, you know, we talked about this before we got on the air, is remembering times, because like that I forget that all of a sudden, you know, then people start, because I'd ask everybody, hey, please remind me because I don't want to fucking accidentally blow off your show and then the fucker, you know, that's not who I am, you know. So
you know what we need to do? We need to show up there, Chris, and I'll completely wild thing out. You go 1000% Casanova, Max. You throw on the old Payne fucking jacket, dude, and we'll just storm them. We'll figure out when they're recording. We'll just storm the studio.
You know, there's the sad part of my story. I sold my jacket to a guy who made me some mega fucking promises, and I don't have it. I sold everything.
Well, son of the bitch, we got to acquire you a new Max Jacks.
You know what, man? Again, people like that, once, that kind of karma, it will only, I know why he did what he did. He's, at the time I was really, really in bad physical shape, and I'm almost positive he thought I was going to fucking die within 6 months. And so he thought that he could, he didn't realize I'd made it around this long. I'm not going to give up that fucking easy, and
do you want to say his name?
I don't, and I'll tell you the reason why, because it's one of those things that would only give him karma. And I think anybody who knows, all you got to do is take one look at who's selling all my fucking t-shirts and shit. You can find out his name. You guys know him, I guarantee you. But
okay, well, let's do this then. Let's just, for the sake of the story, call him Mark Brony, middle name James. So Mark J. Brony. And Mark J. Brony,
nice
I hope you are just going out for a walk. I hope your shoelace comes untied and you trip. And I hope you fall headfirst into a big, deep puddle of AIDS.
You know what it is, man. Too. The funny part is when when people fucking he introduced me to his mom, and she hung a picture of me up in her living room, and it was one of those things. And then all of a sudden, man, he fucking he blindsides me, and and it's one of those moments where, if you've been in the business where you just, I was so disappointed in myself, nothing else, I was so disappointed, because the fucking memorabilia stuff, that doesn't matter, that, because without my endorsement and without my blessing, everybody, whoever from this point forward, anybody who buys any of my shit from him is going to know it's tainted, because the one thing I won't do is certainly don't ever come to me and ask me to endorse it in any way. If anybody who would buy the memorabilia that he didn't steal it from me. I don't want to say that, but he acquired it via, a whole bunch of misstatements and, just underhanded, that, let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
Carney.
So he can never sell it in good conscience. You know what I mean? And anybody who knows me or comes to me, like now, he's selling my exact same t-shirts online. Where can I get one? And people will go, hey, I buy this t-shirt, will you sign it? And I say, no, I won't. So they come to me and ask to buy one directly from me. So that's okay. I mean, that part of it, that karma is his. And the best way I can retaliate is to say nothing about him publicly. And I'm just not going to engage in that over him, because he's not worth it. He lost a good friend. Let's put it that way. Because I believe one thing, that I really am. I am a good friend. When somebody treats me well, the way like you two have treated me, and when a show treats me good, man, I'm a fucking lifer, and I think that means something in this world. So I'm going to stick with that for the rest of my life.
And I still hope he gets AIDS.
See, the great part is, I can let you have that, brother.
Oh my gosh. Well, so Max, I want to get into something last week. You said you had a
Well, hang on, Chris. Hang on, Chris.
What's that?
Because that's great. Let's get into that. But we started a really fun new segment last week that I was going to do mine this week, but it seems that something this week has got you extra specially pissed off. So what's got you pissed off this week, babe?
Oh, yeah. So I'm online. I don't go on social media very often. I really don't. I should, but I don't. Anyhow, I was on there scrolling around. I see this article about Jake Paul, and you guys know him and Mike Tyson fought last year, and it went to a draw.
Of course, we all watched that horse shit.
Yeah, completely horseshit. Well, he makes a statement, says, I could beat Mike Tyson. Yeah, there you go, right there. Yep. He says with his speed and his skills, he could beat Tyson in any stage of his life, including his prime.
Wait, I don't think I heard you. Wait, hang on. Did you say that he said he could right now beat Mike Tyson in any stage of his life? So
Yes.
this guy in his stage
That
right
guy.
now, this guy actually believes he can beat a dude who had a tree trunk growing out of his shoulders. His neck is thicker than his fucking head.
Yes.
Jake Paul thinks that he could legit beat Mike Tyson in Tyson's prime.
That's what he said. He and multiple times he's stated it.
Wow.
And it's like, I'm not taking anything from Jake Paul. He's got some skills. I'm sure like he could take some people out, but Mike Tyson is prime. Like, I don't think anybody could take Tyson on his prime. That guy was just unstoppable.
Well, okay, you could say I don't think anybody could take Tyson at his prime, but I'm going to say nobody did take Tyson at his prime. Even people you thought, oh, he could make a mess of this kid because of his experience. Nobody beat Tyson, dude. Tyson made short, not just work, he made short work at oh my
Everybody.
God, dude.
I'm just flabbergasted. I'm sure he's getting a lot of views and his popularity is
This fucking guy.
Yes,
he said
this
that.
guy, a YouTuber. Yes.
You know what? How about this, Jake Paul? Seriously, fuck you. Fuck all the way off. And you know what? While we're on the subject,
I want Max's opinion too, though. I want his opinion on this.
But real quick, while we're on the subject of fuck this guy, could I just give an honorable fuck you to this clown too, his bullshit bouncing brother?
Oh.
I hate Logan Paul too. They're both cunts. What do you think, Max?
You know, okay, so I'm a living insanity guy. I know I haven't given you the full down on what that is, but Living Insanity is the name of my band, and the reason it's called that is because I always loved it, because when I thought of it, I always thought of it in this way: is it 3 words or is it 2 words? And that's the part that when I discovered and what I went through it, and this whole thing presented itself. I won't go into this now because it's a big, long fucking story. And if you want to hear, I was raised in a mental hospital, I'll tell you where it came from and everything else. But here's my point. And why Living Insanity, is it 3 words or 2 words? Well, a guy like Jake Paul, you got to admit, this is the professional wrestler in me fucking showing up here.
Yeah.
It goes back to the greatest promoter of all time, which was P.T. Barnum. I don't care what you say about me as long as you spell my name right. You know, a guy like that, hey, look at what's happening right now. We're not even fucking remotely connected to this fucking asshole, but we're sitting here spending our time talking about him.
Yeah, he's getting his heat. You're right.
Okay.
That's fucking genius, man. And so Ali was that's where I was going to go, is Ali was the greatest of all time at that. And truthfully, Ali was, in my opinion, I've watched a lot of stuff about boxers and the greatest, and, the Brown Bomber, Joe Louis, and fucking Joe Frazier, and, all the boxers that were associated with Ali. There is no doubt in my mind, Ali is the greatest of all time by a long shot. That motherfucker had so much talent. It was ridiculous. And so
I've always said that an in prime Tyson, though, I believe.
Oh, I agree.
In prime Ali.
No, oh God, can you imagine that fight? That would have been a hell of a fucking fight, right?
I don't know. Rob, you said he could take Tyson?
No, I believe Tyson could beat in prime Ali.
Yeah, I you know what? That's one of those great moments right there, brother. We're gonna have to respectfully disagree because I'll tell you what, Ali, when he was in his fucking prime, I just wow, he was. Well, you know, and the funny part is that's again, this is that moment where in the end it doesn't matter because we're never gonna fucking know that. But
Yeah.
I agree with you, a guy. You know, Paul, are you kidding against Mike Tyson? Fuck, it's not even. It wouldn't even be. In my opinion, it wouldn't be even a contest.
No.
But the truth of the matter is these guys, these Paul brothers, they're fucking geniuses, man. They have figured out how to, you know, what the fuck do I know? I'm lucky to get 30 people to look at a video I do.
Man,
So
fuck those guys.
right?
Let me
But
real quick rewind though. I do want to. A lot of people, when I say I believe young Tyson would have beat young Ali, say, well, Foreman couldn't do it, and I believe he would have done Tyson like Foreman. But Tyson was not just a vicious brute bulldog. He was also a really smart fighter. He's not going to stand in there and just throw bombs and let Ali absorb them. He's going to be much more surgical about where he puts his hands rather than Foreman just, I'm just going to start bombing on you till you go down because that's how he won his fights. Tyson got close, he got inside, and he went to fucking work, dude.
which is why Joe Frazier beat him. You know,
Yeah.
Frazier didn't fight Ali's fight. He fought his own fight. And that's why he, I don't remember which fight was it, the Thrilla in Manila, but when Frazier finally beat Ali and took the title from him, you know, he knew what the fuck to do. And he put the game exactly the right way to beat him that one time. And so that's what I'm saying. The great thing about boxing is, you know, they say boxing is as much of a work as wrestling. I don't believe that. I think there's a lot of it that can be. I think it can be. Let's put it that way.
Sure.
I don't think it is the same kind of magnitude as wrestling that way in terms of spontaneous outcome and so on and so forth. But these motherfuckers really know how to promote, and the Paul brothers know how to fucking get eyeballs. And in the end, that's all that matters to fucking day is eyeballs watching what you're fucking doing. And those boys have figured it out, and they fill their fucking pockets with a whole bunch of dead presidents. And it's just because they're really savvy on using this fucking media to get attention. And this is a classic example of that. So I'm not saying I don't agree with, I agree with you, Rob. I just think that he would fucking crush him. Yeah. Because he's just not that caliber of a boxer. Sure. There's nobody to test him that way. But the one thing he's obviously really good at is getting eyeballs.
I just feel like, I mean, I know cheap heat is still heat. I know. I could say, dude, me in my prime could beat the fuck out of Bruno Sammartino in his. I could say that all day long.
Right.
But give me a goddamn break.
Right. But then again, if you did say that, there'd be 8 fucking million New York fucking wrestling fans that would converge on your site to fucking, you know, to disagree with you. And so you'd get a different kind. It would be the cheap heat you're talking about, but you'd get the eyeballs.
That's the key right there. You get the
eyeballs. Right? Well, so, okay. Then
a guy like you wouldn't do that because you don't need that. You're not driven by that.
No, I am.
Their lives are completely driven.
I'd love to see Bruno stretch Rob, to be honest. But
no, I am here. I'll tell you what.
You and I, Max.
let's test that theory. Let's see, because I am that guy. Hang on. Pause. You know, guys, I'll tell you. In all honesty, the fucking Rob Wilds, the wild thing, the young man, the young wrestler inside of me. I believe I could have tapped out Bruno in his prime. In fact, I know I could have tapped out Bruno Sammartino in his prime. No. In fact, I'll go so far as to say I think compared to me, Bruno was a bitch. And we're going to snip that into a short and see what happens. All right.
Get those eyeballs, man.
Hold on.
That's great.
Look at me, goddammit. Do you think I'm fucking around here?
I'm scared.
I'm sorry, I'm not, but
you got me, man. Fuck, I'm shaking like a dog shit in peach pits right now.
I'm not the guy. I'm telling you, it's not for me. I'm not the one for you. Yeah, I'm not the one that you want. Dig it? Uh-huh. You want to get funky like a monkey? Then yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome.
It's silly, baby. Let's get funky like a monkey, daddy. Sorry, I'm done. All right, Chris. Let's get back to you. Were going to ask Max.
Man, sorry,
about
I'm
last
trying to
week.
get the visual of Bruno stretching you on my head. So I need like a second or two to compose myself.
Young
All
Bruno.
right.
It's got to be young Bruno and long-haired Wilds.
Oh my gosh, that would be a fucking yeah. Anyways, that would be funny to watch.
I'll tell you what. I'll take it like a man. Come on, Bruno. Come get it.
So Max, last week you were talking about a story about Sid and Arn, and you were like, you kind of somewhat started that or instigated that. Like, tell us
Was it
about
the scissor gimmick?
The scissor gimmick, yes.
The B bus. You know what, too? Rob, this is you're pre-recording this, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I have proof of this story because, and so I'll send you a picture. This T-shirt is one of the casualties of my fucking sell-off to Mr. Jabroni.
Mr. Jabroni.
But I took pictures of it before I sold it, so I have a picture of this shirt called. It's so amazing because after this tour, this guy, I think his name was Richard Steinberg, who worked for. I know it was something. It was close to that. I can't forgive me, Richard, if you're watching this, but he was the guy who took care of the marketing and the T-shirt design for the WCW. I thought he made them for everybody, but I might have been. I've never heard anybody else talk about this T-shirt except me. And I got one of these T-shirts. He made this T-shirt called "I Survived the B-Bus." Rob, I'll send you some pictures so that when I tell this story, you can then post them with the fucking story. So I had a real problem with Sidney Udy. And from the moment because he was one of those fucking roid guys. I never did roids in the beginning of my career. I was just I was naturally 6'6", 320 pounds, and so
big dude.
I never felt like I needed to do roids, and of course I did them later on in life. Luckily, I had a couple of really good friends go, "How fucking big do you need to be, dude?" And I went, "Okay," because roids are they're hard as shit on you. So anyway, Sid, you could scrape the fucking grease off of him and get an anabolic steroid rush. You could fucking just put it right into a needle and inject it into your own ass. He just fucking, and if I'm not picking on the dead. If he was alive, I'd say that right now. I have a video on my site that I posted about a story when I first met him in Memphis. And I won't go into that story because it'll take way too long, but he embarrassed himself in front of this tag team called Rough and Ready in an arm wrestling match in Memphis. And this average sized black guy who was part of this tag team that was an enhancement tag team for Lawler from Memphis. This guy was just the most amazing arm wrestler you've ever met. I happen to know that. So, and besides that, arm wrestling for me is, I quit doing it when I was a kid because I hurt my elbow. And then I got to the point where, again, I don't care about that kind of shit. I mean, what the shit that matters is, especially in later life, is can you make money at it? Taking the old wrestling adage, not how much you make, how much you can save, right? So anyway, I watched Sid embarrass himself in a fucking dressing room in nowhere, Tennessee, to an average size, 190 pound, enhancement guy from Memphis. This fucking guy beat Sid in an arm wrestling match so easily it was ridiculous. I mean,
was Sid like 320 at the time? Was he like 320, 330?
Fucking huge, man.
Yeah.
Sid was doing the Lord Humongous gimmick when he first started out.
Yeah.
And I fucking guys like him, because I just come from Japan and I had worked my fucking balls off. I started off carrying robes back to the fucking dressing room, building the ring. I started that part of my foray into the business I'm proud of, because I started at the bottom, building the ring,
Paid your dues.
carrying. And then I lived in Japan for almost 2 years and went back and forth for tours, and I fucking went through the Japanese. In fact, I'm the only American left alive that went through the Japanese dojo system and lived to fucking tell about it.
Wow.
And so when I met Sid for the first time, and then I saw him embarrass himself in front of Rough and Ready. I never liked Sid. I had this deep inside. I liked him. Don't get me wrong. I liked him,
What?
but he okay. So let me.
I hated that fucker. God, I like him.
Here's the thing. I knew him personally. I smoked a lot of weed with Sid and did the highway with him, and I got to see his side of Sid that I ended up liking him. But then again, I like a lot of people that other people didn't really like. So I'm probably not a good judge of character when it comes to that. But I ended up getting along with him. But I always fucking had this thing in the back of my head that I was always trying to fucking wind him up, because do you guys know about the squeegees? Do you know the squeegee story?
No.
Oh my God. So there's Chris, in order to tell you this story, there's a whole bunch of stories that lead up to this.
Okay. Let me make a suggestion.
How do we want to do this?
Let me make a suggestion. We've only got 10 minutes left in the show.
Okay.
So maybe we call next week the B-Bus episode.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do everything to get us to the B-Bus tonight.
Okay, let's do that.
Right? So when I got to Memphis, or when I got to WCW, everybody stayed at the Ramada Inn South, just by the airport in Atlanta. Okay? Everybody roomed there. Everybody had kind of like, that was the place where everybody went to stay. It was like a transfer hub for the WCW,
Yeah, it was the main hub. Yeah.
Right. So everybody knew that the Ramada Inn in Atlanta was the place where you could get a fan could go there. Anybody could go there. You're going to find the boys. So the WWF boys, especially the ones that lived in the South, always routed themselves through Atlanta so they could stay at the Ramada. And there are tons and tons of stories about the Ramada. But the most famous one is one night. First of all, Sid is notorious for being a 6'8", 350-pound pussy. He's not a tough guy. No matter how
I've heard.
He no matter how much he liked to brag about what a badass he is, and this story will testify to that. So one night, Brian Pillman, Arn Anderson, and another guys, I don't know what all and who all was there in Atlanta, were in the bar drinking at the Ramada Inn. I was actually at the hotel that night. I just wasn't in the bar that night. In fact, I think I'd left again, which happened in the B-Bus as well. I didn't make it to the bar, where the bar is usually the place where all the, we all know the bar is the place where all the heavy shit goes down, right?
That's right.
So,
yeah.
Sid fucking rolls in. It's when he's doing that. What did he do? American Justice or American Sid? Or remember the thing he did in New York where he was like the all-American fucking dude?
He's real brief.
Yeah, it was very short. He was doing that, right? So he's in New York.
Was he doing American Made? Was that him?
Something like that. And fucking WWF was hanging their hat on that he was the next Hogan, because Vince had such a boner for him, because look at him. He looks like, exactly what Vince had boners for, the fucking guy who's 6
He was a
foot.
prototype. Yeah.
Yeah. But no shit. He was literally the WWF prototype. Blonde hair, blue eyes, 6'8", fucking carved in fucking, he looked like a statue of David, for Christ's sakes. So Sid behind the scenes, everybody knew what a fucking pussy he was, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody knew that he had, he was a chicken shit son of a bitch. And you can go find the videos to prove what I'm talking about when he tries to kill Brian Pillman in the fucking ring. If you don't believe me, go look at the fucking power bomb. Go find the power bomb on Google where he tries to kill Brian Pillman in the ring.
Was it the War Games match?
I think so, where he drops him on his neck.
Drops him on his head,
yeah.
Right? Okay.
Holy moly.
This is the shit that happened. This is where all of this fucking, I don't know all the timeline exactly, but this is the funny part about the squeegee. This is where the squeegee comes from. Okay.
Oh.
So Sid comes to the Ramada. All the boys are drinking in the Ramada in hotel fucking bar. And Sid comes in. And in his usual drunk fucking stupid splendor, starts bragging about the fact that he is New York's franchise. He's the next New York franchise in front of Arn Anderson and Brian Pillman. And he fucking starts fucking telling these guys what nobodies they are as wrestlers. And finally, Arn and I think it was Brian who actually confronts Sid and says, Sid, if you don't shut the fuck up, I'm going to beat your ass silly in front of everybody in this fucking bar. And instead of Sid being a man and standing up like he should have, he runs out of the fucking bar like a little bitch.
Wow.
Like, I mean, you just him like do-si-doing out of the fucking bar with his dress up. Forgive me. This is putting down women, and it's not fair to women because there's a lot of women far tougher than fucking Sid was, and so he runs out of the fucking bar like a little bitch, and everybody starts kind of laughing at the fact that he ran out of the bar like a little bitch.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, they turn around, and here is Sid, who has gone to his Cadillac to find a weapon.
Oh, my gosh.
And he returns with a weapon. And the weapon of Sid's choice is a windshield washer squeegee. He fucking comes back into the bar threatening to beat Arn and fucking Brian with a fucking windshield washer squeegee.
They probably took that for a moment and beat the hell out of him.
Yeah. Oh, he never even tried. They laughed at him. And so now he fucking leaves the bar with fucking, the whole story is that he leaves the bar again in complete. I don't know all the details. Somebody out there someday will be able to fill in all those details for you. I just know that the squeegee was an essential part of this fucking story because now Sid goes back to New York to get his big fucking shove, and the squeegee incident has now made it to the Observer, and Meltzer's published it in the Observer, and of course Vince reads the fucking Observer like it's the Bible, right?
Yeah, of course.
And fucking he's read about the squeegees, and Sid is sitting in the New York dressing room waiting for his big push, and Vince has had a dozen fucking squeegees painted pink and has them delivered to Sid in the dressing room with a card from the WWF. So now Sid is equally embarrassed. The whole American fucking dream thing that he was going to be up there, whatever it was, American Justice or whatever it was, that fucking thing went down, mostly because of Sid's own demise, which Sid would fucking book dates and just blow them. Sid's notorious for blowing dates and not showing up and never doing a thing he said he would fucking do. And that's how the squeegee story came to be. So Sid and Arn have already got a history Arn and Brian have already got a history now with Sid, and it's been brewing for a lot of years.
That makes sense now.
Now I'm on a bus. Now you got to imagine that we're doing a tour of England, and this tour is not going very good. It's fucking rough. It's a rough tour. The way they booked it, the WCW booked it, was fucking horrible. The boys were fucking irate because we would have to get on a bus like early in the morning, like noon, 1 o'clock, drive for 4 or 5 hours, go to the arena, wrestle, and then get in a bus and drive another 4 or 5 hours to get to the hotel. And then the whole tour was like that. They booked it so far apart. It was so difficult. We didn't have any time to go to the gym, to fucking get it, any rest. It was just the shits. And so the grumbling on the bus was fucking horrible. And all the heels were on the B bus. But everybody wanted to be on the B bus because we were partying our fucking balls up. How did we overcome it? We had man, I'll tell you this. That motherfucking Rick Rude, it didn't matter what country you were in. He could make one fucking phone call and there would be a suitcase full of anything you wanted. And so we got to fucking, God, I wish he was alive to tell the story with me, because he was fucking genius at these fucking stories. And he is such an integral part of the B-Bus. It's unbelievable. So now let me paint the stage at the back of the bus. So we're at the back of the B-Bus. We got fucking pills up the ass. We got fucking.
Why don't you just put them in your mouth?
Oh fuck! Like we actually had them in Pez fucking dispensers.
I've seen that gimmick. Yeah.
Plop, 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 plop. So here's who's on the bus. Vader's sitting down. Vader doesn't get involved. He's up there, got his headphones, listening to Shania Twain, and he's halfway up the bus, and he doesn't bother with us. It's just not who Leon was. I mean, every once in a while he'd party with the boys, but Leon was a very outsider. Brian Pillman is sitting behind Leon, listening to music on his own. He's not partying with us either. Brian had a tendency to be kind of a loner as well. He would, he didn't want to party with all the boys. He never partied with us this night. And at the back of the bus was myself, the Nasty Boys, Rick Rude, Sid, Nick Patrick was with us. And, maybe one or two others, but that's kind of the core of the people who were at the back of the bus. And the fucking Nasty Boys had already got in trouble on the B bus because they mooned an entire crowd of fucking, young kids going, "Hey, can we get you?" Oh God, whose asses are those? They fucking mooned an entire crowd of like WCW fans. So the office was already pissed at that, that part of it. So now here we're all sitting, and Rude, what Sid doesn't know about Rude is what I know about Rude. Rude and I've said this before, Rude got me my job in the WWF. He and I were really good friends. I did the road a lot with Rick, and I loved him with all my heart. He was somebody.
You know what, guys? We're gonna have to put a pin in this right here, man. We've got the
that's
back
fine.
Of the bus. We got the back of the bus laid out, so we got that picture painted. Yeah. Next week when WrestleShoot starts, it's going to start on the motherfucking B bus.
Yes.
And Rick Rude. I want to hear about Rick Rude because
Rude's
story there.
He is.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for WrestleShoot. Give us a like and a follow, a thumbs up, all that shit. We're here all the time at ASN for life. Later.